And are we back, Mark, with our
Part two. Let's
two.
get some viewer feedback.
Just before we do, I've got a good story. Everyone loves the misery of my life, and I know you really enjoyed it. Took a lovely girl for a coffee the other day at Bondi Junction there, and you know
What do you mean? What do you mean you took a lovely girl for coffee?
What
are you up to?
Nah, just let me finish the story, would you? Don't give me up. So you know that feeling you get, punters, you know that feeling when you go out and buy yourself some new sneakers? Is there a better feeling than opening up a new box of sneakers?
It's pretty good.
It's a good feeling. So I'm just there, looking all right. She's about 20 years younger, and she's used to the blokes with the guns and the tats and the earrings, and got the old Glenster there, and she said he's a big-time gambler, a big card player. He's a player. He's more man than most.
Right.
And all the girls were running around at the cafe shop. They have lovely white t-shirts and black skirts on. They look gorgeous, all the girls. And they all had the same shoes on as the old Glenster.
My daughter's got those shoes as well.
Fuck, I've bought girls' shoes. You fucking believe this? What is wrong with me? That bloke at Foot Locker, if I fucking get up to Bondi Junction again, so there's about 8 girls walking around in the same shoes as the old Glenster. Anyway, there he was. How do you beat that? You can't beat that, can you?
Yeah, okay.
So the old Glenster wears girly shoes.
There you go. Well, at least they won't find you threatening, eh?
They should.
Mardi Gras week.
They should. They should. I know, because I watched the footy show the other night, and something came on with, I don't know, whoever it was. You had to describe yourself in 3 words, Mark. What would you say about you? You only use 3 words.
Anal.
Right.
Workaholic.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
I think that's great. And most of the footballers had desire, fitness, drive. You know, 3 words. I was sitting at the TV, I went psychopathic, unkind, fuckwit. They were the 3 words that came to my mind.
You sure you weren't hearing them from someone that might have been next to you?
No, I was by myself. Oh, now we've got
okay, so now we've got the mower.
Now we've got the real test with the microphones.
It's been a great tryout for the mics this week.
Hasn't it? What?
David, hi team, enjoy the show, and could I make a suggestion that would help us off-course punters in the ranch when you discuss the weekend's races? I'd love to hear Glenn's post-race analysis of those horses that paraded poorly. This could help explain some substandard runs that don't appear in the stewards' reports. Well,
David, we'll try to, but we can't obviously go through every horse because goodness knows this hour of my life kills me every week, and to do like another half an hour would just make me hang myself.
We do try and touch on it.
We do touch on
it. If you've got any suggestions, please, you know, for example, if you get the Mounting Yard Mail and you notice that Glenn was particularly hard on Chautauqua, you go, well, Chautauqua's run really well. Just email in and say...
I was particularly hard on Veronillo too. I didn't even have my top 4, and the market had it like $4.20. So I'll try to mention those horses and what I think will happen with them. Maybe 1 or 2 horses a race if I can. I'll take it on board, David.
Well,
we're not going to go for every horse.
No, but we're looking for the horses that you left out, really. So Veronillo is
put on
deep into his second prep. Well,
somehow they put condition on. He was unhappy, and I expect him to trim up and go better on a drier surface. Putting on condition on wet track's bad.
What's the go with putting on condition after you've had 2 runs back?
I can't work it out.
It's like I'm watching TV and eating chips and chocolate, popcorn. What's the go?
Maybe bought some black and white Nikes and he sat around a cafe like me.
Laurie said, hi guys, enjoying the shows and previews. Don't always agree with your views, but sometimes different opinions give a bit of inspiration.
Bad.
A back 2 shot the barman in the Chipping Norton on the Betfair at $12 the place.
Yep.
It's a good price since it's only paid $3.70 the place on the tab, and I think $7 in Vic. Tim Clark judged the track well, found the right position to be in. Who Shot the Barman did trade up to $270 for the win, $270 for the win on the exchange. Understand Betfair's exchange works different to a tote. Should I have been able to get a bigger price to place?
No.
This is classic, isn't it? Because you just cannot think about the win and place prices in this race when you've got a $1.20 chance.
Yeah.
The place prices do not resemble a normal place market.
It's going to be closer to a 10th or a 12th.
And it's the fascinating thing about the place, isn't it, Glenn?
Well, it's funny how he said he took $12 a place. He was able to nominate it as a good place chance, and then after the race he's saying, I should have got better. I don't think so. And you've got to admit, you backed it with Betfair, so you're only betting with other traders that are betting to like 301%. So I actually backed it at the place as well, only for $100 on Betfair. I beat you. I got 14.5. I don't want to sound like a dick. But,
you are a dick.
But I did do a bit better than you. And I think that was the right kind of range, $12 to $14. I think it was a good price, and it's a horse. I think I had it 4th number. It's come back terrific. But I don't think Look, you couldn't have got better. And the $3.70 the place in the New South Wales grubby parimutuel where they take out 385% or something, like, and then round you down, like, you know.
You're basically betting pay 2-3 winks out.
The
right?
bottom line with the parimutuel, how does anyone bet on it? And the bottom line is people don't. The pools are going down, 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 down. They saw the light. They've gone into fixed odds betting, and now they're trying to like control that.
All right, but the funding model is based on 5% out of the parimutuel and 2% out of the fixed odds.
We're in plenty of trouble.
Can any of you enlighten us as to just how Jelka supposedly won $7.5 million on Keno? I've read and heard about algorithms and whatnot, but it's always intrigued me. Was it still a risk? Do you know what kind of role was at stake? What kind of percentage chance he had at whatever stab he was taking, and so on?
All right. Well, I know a little bit about it, and like, was it a risk? My answer that would be definitely yes. He can't foresee the numbers coming up. He can only work on algorithms of probability that he will snag it within the outlay that he'll need to do it. And I believe, well, I know for a fact it went for a couple of days at a club in North Ryde. They were betting 24 hours a day, and they ended up striking gold and getting their result. And that was one of the early stages of their startup. And hats off, full credit to him. A genius, like a clever person.
He does take risks.
Oh my word! They got betting organisations with dozens of staff that have got to be paid and things and and I know they do very well out of kickbacks and this and that and whatever, but the bottom line is they're punters trying to win, and they do a good job winning.
Another one for Glenn. Does the theatre of the horse play differently in comparison to mounting yards at Rosehill, Canterbury, Warwick Farm, or any other track where the yard is next to the track? I'm an amateur by any measure, but I find myself noticing some things even through TV differently at the other tracks that I just don't get at Randwick since they changed it all up. Would be nice to know if it's just my mind playing tricks on me, or if there is definite differences in horse mannerisms due to being out the back.
I think it might be your mind playing tricks here. I know the camera angles are different in the theatre. They sort of follow them around from the top a little bit more.
Right, okay, yeah,
whereas out in the breezeways, it's more like, I think it might, because I haven't noticed differences.
So you're saying TV angles might be the answer there?
I think TV angles might be the answer there too. Who said that?
George, who advised you about the speeding, which didn't get a run yesterday.
I think it might be your mind with the TV angles. I haven't the 4 and 5 key negatives that I use through mounting yard mail. I don't find any different. I find them different at one place. It's the Canterbury night meetings.
So what?
I don't know what it is.
No, you don't know?
I don't know if it's the light on the coats or...
Right, because I was having a conversation with someone the other day that suggested that the theatre of the horse would look different depending on which side you watch them from. Do you actually pick... When you go to a mounting yard, do you go, right, I need to stand here because the light or the sun is...
I don't know what it is. But give you an example, my race book, obviously I do mounting yard mail on Saturdays, but I get to 5 and 6 meetings a week sometimes. Maybe not as much as I used to. And obviously when I'm doing my parade for myself, which is obviously my most important client, I'm giving horses 2 ticks, can't get more than 2 ticks, tick, 0, which is just 0, and pen job. So when I go back to Betfair, I go, oh yeah, that's pen job. Oh yeah, no. At Canterbury, I get home my book, it's tick, 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 0, tick, tick. It's just annoying.
So are you not being able to see something?
I don't know what it is, and also the temperature's different. They sweat differently.
Yeah, it's a different beast, night racing. It's a different beast, night cricket. All the night stuff is different.
It is different. So I find a big difference there to George, but I don't at the parade in the theatre. I love the theatre, When Darren Pearce first showed me the theatre, I thought, what a jerk you are, Darren Pearce. This won't work. Full credit to him. I really love the theatre. I reckon it's great. And I think people really love the theatre. The stupid band, or sometimes the stupid music, they'll have George Michael singing some Wham song, even though he's 6 feet under now, and the horses are parading, and I'm going, really, George Michael, can we turn that off? But I find the parade great. I also want to mention to the ATC, well done to racing on Saturday. Well done. They didn't know whether to go to Rosehill, to go to Monday. I mean, obviously would have gone to Monday if Winks was in, but they didn't know what to do. They gambled, and the track played, even though they don't like that look down the left, punters prefer going left than not on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, at least we had a meeting. So Teeny wrote in, aren't you glad the jockey set a precedent yesterday? They will now ride at any meeting unless it's literally underwater.
They set the precedents all the time. The only problem for jockeys and race courses is the amount of zeros on the price, on the range of the price.
Okay, so...
You know, we didn't have a track inspection on Saturday. So to T Angler out there and all my fans, I didn't see any of you walking the track on Saturday. Can someone from the Jockeys Association explain how no one walked the track to do the inspection? Because we might go home.
I don't know. I noticed, Glenn, there was $1 million race. There was two $500,000 races.
Oh, Jockeys Association. Maybe that's why we didn't.
The greatest bloody show you blokes should be on TV. Thanks, Nev. Not being politically correct is refreshing, but you also actually know racing. That's very kind.
That's kind.
And sorry, this is Benny that's written this. The Glenster is the modern day Clarence the Clocker. I don't remember Clarence the Clocker. Is it like, was it a Sydney Ian Craig turf time thingy?
Yeah, I remember Clarence the Clocker, but I don't remember him as a person like me. I thought he just clocked horses.
I'm sure we can get a beer ad for him. That's you. It would be pure liquid bliss, as it was back then. After growing up crunching at the trots with the old man in the 60s, the computer revolution of the 80s, to the piss-weak corporates of today, you three are good racing men wasted. I've seen enough racing to know, keep up the good work. Benny, good vibes.
Thanks, Benny. That was all very kind. I get embarrassed when we read the comments. Now, where's someone that says I'm a dickhead?
Nick says, as much as I love a champion, he's talking about not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, when Winks hit the front on Saturday, I had this terrible feeling of deja vu. The jockey just steered her straight and sat motionless. Luke Nolan did exactly the same on Black Caviar. Probably every start, other than the one she was almost beaten in England. Dull. You want to feel elation with these horses, but when they are apparently so much better than the opposition at level weights, they're a great disappointment to watch them run.
I agree completely.
We look at the race results from 60 plus years ago when the champions raced in handicaps as well as weight for age. 10 stone 7 would really show the true champion qualities, not 56 kilos weight for age with the mare's allowance. Hollywood didn't make a movie about Seabiscuit winning weight for age races. Dull. Give her 75 kilos next start. It'll make the front page of the paper. There'll be 30,000 at the track to see the evil handicapper is strung up. Then if she wins, she will rightly be held up with the champion horses from long ago.
I agree. She is an absolute bore. She's such a bore. I mean, I couldn't care less if she won. Well, I just get 10 out of every start. I was losing her all the time, but she's so dull.
Okay, but it's modern day racing. So I recall 1976, I started following the races, and Desirable was a 2-year-old and she ran in the VRC Lightning. We've seen actually horses run since and recently, but you don't see things mixed up anymore.
Because of breeding.
So
because of other powers.
So every horse has a program.
Yep.
That won't interfere with them in any way. So
if Winks went into a handicap, I reckon the stewards they'd ring Wallace. What are you doing? Scratch it. Well, the stewards love to be so much part of the game these days, where they should be just they should be just there,
seen and not heard,
and hear the rules.
Yeah.
The rules are broken. Well, you better come in and explain.
Yeah, but
yourself.
I think you'd find amazingly that Winks would get some sort of ridiculously, like 59 or something.
She wouldn't get 59, Mark. What?
There'd be some.
I'd love to see her at Cessnock on a Tuesday with 97 kilos.
Some tweaking. Cessnock.
Old mate up the pub can ride her.
Cessnock.
But she is dull. She's so boring.
What is dull about racing?
What
about dull is racing is the homogeneity of it. Look, everything is predictable. Everything is like it's racing in lanes. It's all those things.
Jockey management, filthy breeders.
We're so corporatised and everything is streamlined.
Stewards.
Yeah, there's no real risk take.
And there's no blokes out there like turning over corrupted money. There's no George Freeman. It's a oney. It's lost a little bit of glamour. It
lost a lot of glamour.
There's no emus.
I know, but it's modern life.
That's why we hold Para in such high esteem. Another plane.
Yep.
Para's our last hope.
Dave wrote, just another corporate rant. I've had an account with 365 since they opened their doors, which is quite a few years. Glenn helped me with a problem I had with them a few months ago when I had an each-way bet in an all-in market.
We looked after you, Dave.
Greatly appreciated Glenn's efforts on my behalf. Well, now I have another problem with the same bookie. This time, though, I'm not asking for help. Tried to have $20 on 101 shot. They refused, said check your account. Then I tried $10, $5. Went to their website, tried $5 there. The reply was that they would take $3.13 and the rest was up to the traders, which was subsequently declined. This happened on 2 separate horses in the first 2 races at Warwick Farm last Wednesday, which wasn't run anyway. Now, I'm hardly in the class of a Bartholomew Packer or a fireman as a punter, but if a pensioner having $10 and $20 bets really scares them, don't you think they should be in some other business?
Well, I don't think it scares them. It doesn't scare them. What they're doing is they're not setting up business till 9 o'clock on race day.
Yeah.
So any early shoppers...
Well, any early shoppers that have had a history of being a bit backing an old winner...
Yeah, they're just copping the
tip.
They're profiled. They're profiled, and you've obviously been profiled. Dave is an okay punter, and they're just not. They're not in the business of doing business early. Now, should they have the odds up before 9 o'clock? Oh, I don't know. The odds I see before 9 o'clock are the ultimate
tease.
They're the ultimate tease. They're like the glamour in the bar, winking at you as she goes down with another bloke. I think you just got to not bet, wait, hope, say your little prayers till 9 o'clock. The price is still there, and it won't be. And bet from that point on. But I think that's the profile of the business.
I think you could probably ignore it. So do you recall late mid-90s, Mark Reed goes up to Darwin, sets up IAS and starts putting prices up on his website in the mid to late 90s, and they were 110%.
Yeah.
And apparently you could only get on to win 20,000.
Wow. Wow.
So, I mean, that set the scene. That's like, oh, this is the new world we're coming into. Corporate bookmakers will bet early prices and you'll be able to get on. Not true. We just have to pretend that it's back in 1993 where there are no internet prices, and you get to the track and the market is what it is.
Why are they going to bet a day before $7 to win to anybody if that person's...
half clever.
Well, super clever. And there's a lot of super clever punters out there. All they're going to do is just lose a lot of money. I think they're struggling to win anyway, Dave. So look, it's not that they only bet you $3.13. Obviously, they do bet bigger than that, a lot bigger than that. And I've got genuine experience there. They gave me a really good run for a long time, and I made 1 deposit and 27 withdrawals. So you just got to. This is the way the corporate world is, and they've all got the other thing there too is they've got a lot of their management roles come from other. The corporate world of gambling is run by staff who've all been somewhere else. So they're the ickiest lot of corporate sluts changing jobs and this and that. We do it this way, and they've all got this, and they're all, Tom's the prince of all of them, and they've got this real sleazy way of plying their trade because they're trying to win.
Please don't bring this up in 5 years' time when Glenn and I are there as well.
I won't be there, I'll be dead. I'll never work for corporate. I would dead set. I know I joke about suiciding on my 55th, but I'm no way working for it. I've come too far.
All right, Ben has come a long way as well. He said, my first racing book was Remplant, then Pittsburgh Phil, and then I was introduced to Don Scott's books by Bill Harcourt. Is he still around? Well, I know Don's not around. Bill Harcourt, I don't know. Great show and hope the horse wins heaps. Thanks, Ben.
Oh, meaning our horse?
Yeah, our horse.
Good on you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. Remplant was a forerunner to Don Scott, and he wrote about the same sort of stuff, not as eloquently as Don. And not as savvily as Don, but he had the same sort of ideas about recognising the various variables that come into play in racing and how do you treat them. And then Don came along and went, I give this variable this number and that variable that number, and we loved the idea that we can just have a set of numbers and add them up and that's the answer. It's not the answer. We've been through all that, but they were important milestones, they were important markers on all of our journeys through the learning to do the form. It's like you need to actually think about these things.
Yeah, it's like Tommy Carroll would have started off with a foam board at Harbord, and and then you're going to be world champion. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and you can't do without the other stuff.
You got to get there.
It's easy for Tommy to go, oh, it's a foam board, that's for kids, which it is.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
Being a golfer. You think Tiger, you start off with a 3, a 5, a 7, a wedge and a putter, and maybe a 3-wood. An old hire bag, which you probably stole, even though I will give it back one day. And
hope you didn't steal a buggy, like a motorised buggy.
I told you that golf story with that hire club, with that captain.
No. Come on, release.
Come on.
Never heard it.
Haven't you heard it? I was playing golf with, in a social day. The bloke who runs the tab was in my group. He still talks about the story. Craig
Nugent.
Me, Craig Nugent, one of the bookies clerks, and old mate, captain of the club. We're playing at New South, and 180 metre par 3. I pulled out a 5 iron or 4 iron, whatever it was, and I've just gone, hit as good as I can hit it, and it's just gone, boom, 6 foot short, 2 foot to the right of the hole, like definite birdie, no problems in the world, great shot. And the captain just stood there and amazed me. He said, that was the greatest shot I've ever seen. He said, what sort of club do you use, son? And I passed it to him, and Nugent tells the story, and it said 4, and on the top of it, it said higher. Because I hit it pretty good out of a higher set and stole it. And the captain went, this is a higher club. And Nugent tells the story well. He gets a lot of mileage out of that story, and yeah, still got that higher. Okay, I'm not getting rid of it. It's a good club.
So what? You hired a set of clubs one day,
and I kept
went sweet. So
one club I hit perfect, and I long armed it, and then I've stuck it in my clubs, and then when I hit this shot, the captain of the club goes, "Oh, is that
happened to be that one?
Is that a ping? Is that a Jack? Is that a Tommy Armour? No, it's 4 higher." Nugent loves that story. He still tells people about it.
It's hard not to love that story. So speaking about guys starting out. Hi guys, 22-year-old, keen on horse racing, looking to take the next step to start becoming a better punter. I use Excel, I use RaceNet to do my form, notes on each runner, profile stats, replays, positions in run, and so on. I always hear about pro punters framing their own markets and comparing them to actual markets to give themselves an edge in the betting. I've tried this and find that I can initially price a horse, but then refining and adjusting that price is where I stumble, and essentially my market is clumped with runners around about the same price. Horses at $3, horses at $10, so on. Do you have any tips on how to continue to refine my form analysis and improve that particular process? As a punter, I want to remain consistent in my method so that variance is minimal in the way I bet. I think that consistent method is key. So I think really what he's asking for is help with pricing, Glenn.
Well, I think you're on the right track, Anthony, and don't be too hard on yourself if you're like stumbling and fumbling along, because that's easy to do. You're more. It doesn't matter what pro punter is. The most important market that anyone puts out is the market, the racecourse market, the market, and then you've got to try and find, spots in that market where you find holes or things are wrong. And I think if you're doing your thing, I think maybe if you're struggling with the pricing, maybe just get them into brackets, and the brackets are easy. And
yeah, so you're comparing horses with other horses in the race, and you're trying to separate them, really, aren't you?
Yeah, and I used to do in my early days a lot of form like that, and I used to put them into certain brackets. And I'd put a C next to a horse, just thought it was a chance, and I'd put a GC next to a horse. Only one in a race would be a GC. That'd be like a great chance. And then other times I'd put half chances. Then I'd write no, which meant no, I don't think this is going to, and then I'd have none when I thought, well, it's fucking got none, so I could live and die. But I'd get them in a bracket. So, for example,
very old school, that.
Very old. If a horse is 440, I've got no next to it. Well, I know I'm not backing it.
But the other thing is you're using no to price that horse as well. So your GC, your C, I'd say your half C or your SC, some chance.
Yep.
And then you might go place, and then you might go rough, and then you might go no, and then you might go none.
You can have 7 brackets if you like, but just put them into some sort of boundary to get in some sort of order, and then apply that to the market. I know that's a bit basic. I found it worked for me, and I think I had some of my better success because, there's nothing like having something to GC and it's 4th or 5th pick in the market. You know you're on it, and then they go well.
Yeah, so look, I think that's good.
And then if someone's GC and it's $1.40, well, everyone thinks it's a fucking GC. It doesn't mean you're betting.
Yeah.
You're looking for.
Yeah, but you've also been able to construct your market using those categories. So what are you saying? Your GC is your 7 or 4 chance?
No, but no.
No, but you can start. Like obviously, if you've got GC and then you go straight to a half C.
Yeah, well, that's obviously an 8 to 14 chance.
Yeah. So I mean, what I'm saying is.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, you are right. Actually, your GC is a 7 to 4 chance or shorter. Yeah, but what price you take? Oh, I don't know.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is you've got your brackets. And so you allocate your percentages based on your bracket.
On your bracket, yeah.
And then you fiddle your way to 100.
Exactly. Well, there's no way I'm taking 25 to 1. Anything that I've got none. None's like a 200 chance. It's none. And when you got things none, they pop up on the fair all the time. You can lay $19. I always get 100 or 200 out of them. If they win, they win. Do your balls, move on to the next race.
Brian sent an email to Betfair suggesting they get their act together, earlier displays of realistic markets.
I've just got to say, I have read this email. You're on the wrong track here. Who's this from?
This is from Brian, who's
Brian,
a very solid fan of the show.
Yeah, he's just a bit confused with Betfair here.
Well, look, the thing about Betfair is that if there's no liquidity, there's no liquidity.
Well, they're not bookies. They're not putting up prices. Yeah. Other people put the prices up, Brian. People like me put the prices up. So if it's 4 hours before the race, I'm not betting because there's a race coming up. He's just a bit confused. I'm not bagging you, Brian, because I know you're trying to learn. Go.
Roy Milkey, who hasn't been heard of for a long time, Glenn, where's he been hiding?
Well, I think he tries to get back into racing all the time. He's a very old, dear friend of me, and in my life, he'd be one of my best friends. So, but I never see him, but that's all right. But
anyway, Roy, who...
I'll be at his funeral, he'll be at my funeral for sure.
He's a very clever man. He said, I thought I'd have a bet on the Sydney 2-year-olds on Saturday. Found the archaic New South Wales racing website and eventually discovered the form guide under Race Diary. Started doing the form, no videos for non-New South Wales races. Searched the internet, found Sky Channel, tried to watch the Magic Millions replay, had to log in, couldn't. My tab account had been closed because I had no money in it. Sorted that out. Tried to watch the Blue Diamond Prelude replay, couldn't. Searched the internet, found racing.com, signed up with them, searched through the racing calendar to find the replay. Then I discovered half the horses were also entered in the Black Opal, and I wouldn't know which ones would be running until race morning. Why would the industry schedule 3 important slipper lead-up races on the same weekend? Why is the industry competing with itself? Then I discovered that the corporates had actually been betting on the race since Wednesday, so any edge I might have miraculously found was long gone. So I go to Betfair, where at least you've got some hope, but because of New South Wales Racing Fields legislation, my commission rate is now 7.67%. So I thought, fuck all this, and I bet on the footy. This is why Volandis needs to realise that his competition isn't Victorian racing and the states need to work together. I wonder if the Honourable Mr Toole, the New South Wales Minister for Racing, realises how hard it is for normal punters like me to bet on his product.
It's a great email, Roy. Great email. And
yeah, so those of us that are totally immersed in it, we sort of lose sight of this fact, don't we? You know, Roy's coming in and saying, how's this thing looking right now? And he's going, well, okay, so you've got replays, but you've not got all the replays.
And yeah, he can't bet on Betfair at 7.67% commission, which your commission does blow out if you haven't used it for a while. You've got to work on working it down. But obviously it's not their fault because they've got to pay this stupid racefield legislation tax, which is so unfair.
What is their fault? They lost the court case. That was atrocious. Well, Betfair.
Yeah, but they're still I don't know how. They're still not a bookie. And why haven't us punters stepped in and written emails to locals and tried to stick up for Betfair? I mean, Betfair is us. Betfair's not Betfair.
Yeah, Betfair is us. That's right.
Any money that gets paid from Betfair comes from us. I didn't read any letters.
Well, you better get onto it, Glenn. But the other thing is that you couldn't bet on those 2-year-old races on Saturday because half the field were in the Black Opal. It stinks.
Yeah, it was
stinks.
Tricky.
So we've got this situation where if you're a dual acceptor on Wednesday, you have to come out by Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, but these horses were dual acceptors. They just happen to be dual acceptors across meetings.
Yeah.
And that needs to be sorted out.
Right.
Hi. So.
Big hello to Roy.
And. Interestingly, on Saturday we had a big Dicko promotion because Dicko commenced doing the Mounting Yard Mail from Melbourne.
And thanks to everybody that got Dicko stuff, because I get all the emails that come to the thing, and I had 15 pages of emails for all the people that like the free stuff. We know everyone out there really likes the free stuff. I mean, that's why I go to the beach a lot. I can afford that price too, but it'd be interesting to see how many people pay.
Yeah, anyway,
and apparently he knocked it out of the park.
Dicko went very well. Anyway, Mick says, hi, I just wanted to say well done to Dicko on MYM today in Melbourne.
This wasn't Melbourne, Mick, was it? We gave his stuff away for free once too.
He was all over it, and thanks for the free look. Every week I watch the rant and love it. But hearing the Glenster constantly talking about doing his balls has you questioning the value of MYM. I understand what you're saying. But
I understand, but what do you want me to do? Like, stack of people get Mounting Yard Mail, have done 5.5 years. I tip a stack of winners, but I just seem to bet up on the ones that, like Impovito.
But the other thing is...
Weekend Hustler, like fucking Light and Power. I find horses before anybody, but the way I run's poor. But anyway, that's all right.
No, but you talking about doing your balls is part of your personality.
Yeah, but at least I'm honest. Like, what you do is say I win every week and be like every other tosser and dickhead. You can always go to Sky Channel if you want.
Dicko's looks great. Great show, boys. Looks like Gordo would have had a fat day from the preview too. He did actually, because Gordo was all over Le Romain, he was all over English, and he was all over astronomers.
Yep.
So well done, Gordo.
And then Dicko does play a lot of all up, so anyone that knows Dicko needs to bite him for something, ring him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's good for a loan at the moment. Aaron said, I think the concept or purpose of a parade yard assessment has really changed in recent times. My understanding is
now they get anyone to do it.
Well, no, they only get girls to do it now.
Ex-jockeys.
You
it's the
can't.
best go of all time.
Huh? What about yesterday? I have to say that I was thinking about watching Scone and Canberra yesterday, and there was John Scourse and there was Gary Harley, and I have to say they had to switch it off. I like Gary Harley, and I recognise that John Scourse is...
He's a good guy, John Scourse.
Okay, but you can't listen to him.
It's unlistenable, and no one gets it in there. No one gets it in there. It's just, when the whole industry is only concerned with every word that comes out of their mouth is politically correct and tongue up the arse, it makes it a turn off. And Mr. Volandis doesn't understand that. Mr. Volandis wields a lot of power, and one of the major things he is, look at you don't read an article bagging racing in any way. You don't read a Kenny Calendar, anybody anymore, and we're worse, we're poorer for it. We're poorer for it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Wallace fined $30,000 down to $5,000 for his umpteenth drug offence, and like it's not even reported on.
Yeah, well, welcome to North Korea.
Well, Peter's got a Jerry. Look, if he turns into Kim Jong-il, it'll be worse for him.
But sorry, what's going to make them Jerry? They've got a cosy little setup that's just not going to be threatened. They've got the legislative imprimatur from the state government. They've got the business arrangement that
well, no wonder we got so many emails from people just turning off and betting on footy.
Yeah.
We haven't got any young people coming through.
All right, but the whole thing's got to fall down before anyone realises anything.
And it's going to fall down. Eventually it'll fall down. Have we heard a word about the championships in 3 weeks? Any news on it?
The championships?
I think it's all been swept. My first tip was right.
You mean the Everest, you mean?
The Everest.
Yeah,
of course I mean
the Everest. No, we've heard plenty about the championships, and you can't not hear about the provincial championships or the country championships. That's all you hear about.
But I think they're a success too.
Well, they are and they aren't. I think, as far as bang for buck, I'm not sure about that.
Anyway, I think someone should be able to go in there and do it. I'll give you another great example. Here's a great example. They changed their... I'm privy to this knowledge. They changed their provider with the ratings in its Sky channel.
What?
Yeah.
Sky ratings?
Yeah, because they had old mate doing it, and old mate was a bit left, made some commentary.
Not in the ratings.
He provided the ratings,
right.
But he also appeared on their shows.
Right.
And he said, look, this is a bad part of the track, and, don't say they're pushing all the time. So they said, we'll get rid of him. They got rid of him. Peter's good at picking up the phone and getting people to lose their jobs. I mean, I lost my job.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing
there's plenty
thing to put your head in a pillow over night time and know you've cost people their jobs. It's an awful thing. Income's a very important part of our life. Anyway, they changed their rating system in the Sky. Now, those ratings down the bottom, to me, they look like a crock of shit. I mean, top rate is 100. 100 fucking what? 100 banana skins? I don't even know what the ratings is. And then second pick's 97. But 2 Saturdays ago, and don't get me wrong, I've been tipping for a long time, and I'll never bag anyone tipping an $8 chance if you think you can win or whatever. I'm not bagging you for tipping an $8 chance. But they had Hartnell on 100 and Winks on 92 in ratings.
Really?
So in ratings, in the history of the ratings, I think Winks has beaten it 7 out of 7. Owns it every time they go around, but on ratings, whoever provided their ratings, now I don't know who you are out there, but you must get them out of a fucking Kellogg's cornflake packet, had Hartnell on 100 and Winks on 92. That was their ratings. It's not like someone coming, look, I really think this Hartnell's improved, I'm going to tip Hartnell to beat Winks. I'm really happy with that. But if you're selling ratings, and let's just say it's 100 banana skins, because it might as well be fucking banana skins ratings to me, Winks has got to be on 100 all, and Hartnell fits in there at about 71. But they provide that crap for us as well. So not only do you have to listen to this crap, listen to all the ex-jockeys, listen to the girls, because we've got to keep everything so politically correct and have half girls, and It doesn't matter.
No, we can't have half girls. We just have the half of the pretty girls.
The pretty little one the other day with the blonde, she's a lovely little kid, but does a good job and she seems vibrant. What's her name?
Priscilla. China.
She tipped the roughie somewhere the other day. I'm going for the roughie. It lobbed. It was fantastic. It paid $4.20. The roughie. Come on. Anyway, with Sky, when you have do it, just watch it on mute. It's the easiest way to live. But the ratings, they were a great set. Thanks so much for that rating of 100 on Hartnell and 92 on Winks.
Right, so
Bang for buck there.
Pete's improved the product there.
Well, the product is just, if you put out that rating and Winks on 92, you are selling dog shit.
Yeah. You sure are, but I mean, I think...
But you know, they're in there, they're Graham McNeil started, Parnell, he polished everybody up, now they've all left, and it's just a pyramid of arse-lickers, all protecting their job because...
There's only one job.
Captain Pete
You lose that job, you've got no other job. You're like us, you'll be in the park.
It's an awful way to live, being politically correct. And Peter's a bigger bloke than that. He's a better man than that. He's got to get away from this picking up the phone, stop them saying that, stop this. Everyone's got to... Every person in that industry comes to me, oh, Pete. Pete's a fucking bloke.
Aaron wanted to say about the yard that he says, personally, I like to think if a yard judge is still forced to tip 4 or 5 horses in every race after all pre-race assessments, they need to find a different edge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand what you're saying there, Aaron. It's like, God, it's colour by numbers, isn't it?
I know, but by the same token, I send out my information with 4 horses. People get my stuff. Now people say, oh, you picked the winner in 4. Oh, I'm not saying that. My top pick's my top pick, and you know I might have a save with them. But I put out 4 numbers because people play purse 4s.
Yeah, they do.
You know, people play trifectas, and if I send out 1 number, there'll be a stake of people go, oh, I want 4 numbers. So people are hard to make happy in punting because it's so damn hard to win, and they like to blame someone else.
And there's so many holes to pick.
And in fact, if someone from Sky can just write to us, email us, explain how Hartnell rated 100 and Winks rated 92. I'd love to know how whoever that new ratings bloke was, when you opened your Kellogg's cornflakes and out popped a Hartnell brief and just said 100, can you write to us how you did it? Because, like I said, if you were tipping it, I wouldn't be dirty on you, but ratings-wise, I might try and get a Photoshop. I've got a Photoshop of that. I took a photo.
Screenshot, yeah.
Yeah. We'll try and put it on the site. Because I'm not, you know. And when Pete wants to ring up and get that person off, why don't you ring the ratings bloke, the new ratings bloke? Ring him and just try and get an explanation of how Hartnell was 100 and Winks was 92.
It's got to be the most outstanding piece of.
Well, there's 20 million people in Australia. Let's say 5 million know about Winks. Every 5 million of those people would know Winks would rate on top.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's one bloke out there who sells that crap from the cornflakes pack to Sky, and is the new provider.
Well, we're paying for that because.
Okay, so we're paying.
Betting is paying for that.
And all of a sudden, there it is. It rates better. I'd just like to know how. He's the one person in 5 million that thinks it rates better.
You'd love to know why.
We're back.
We're back.
Sorry about that little break in transmission.
Yeah. Hi, Mark. Just wanted to tell you just want you to tell people how good Dicko's MYM was on Saturday. It was like scoring a century on debut. Winners galore, laying odds on favourites, tipping exotic winners numerous times. Personally, I collected 6 from 7 and 4 exactas, the smallest 1370, the highest 7350. I enjoy hearing that certain horses are not parading well and others look to have improved. With Dicko now covering Melbourne and Glen in Sydney, every punter needs this valuable service. As a punter wanting to win, we need to know how the horse travels, feels or handles the game day. They are, after all, animals with habits. Seriously, fellow punters, do yourself a huge favour and get both Glen's and Dicko's MYM.
Oh, must be like a little fan of ours.
Living in a state, they are my personal spies at a bargain price.
Good on you.
Congrats, Dicko, on your debut. Look out, Glen, there's a new kid on the block.
And I haven't spoke to Dicko yet, but if Dicko's up and running for this Saturday, which we hope he is, we might be able to do a 2-for-1 offer just a bit cheaper, mate.
Yeah, what a good idea.
I think so. I think we'll both be charging 33, so let's work it out now. Let's just put it on the block now. So 33, so how much?
55 for 2.
55 for 2. It's $11 off, isn't it? Something. Yes, let's do it that way. So 2-for-1's 55. Hello.
He's back.
Dean, I'm doing the show. I'll ring you back, buddy.
P.S. to that idiot who said Dicko had nothing to add, do yourself a favour. Thanks, Turk. Thanks, Turk. And yeah, look, it was a stellar debut, and Glenn, look, I have to say, I loved your excitement on Saturday. You know, like after the week before where that was just a like fence on fire track where there was a one lane highway.
Down the outside does. No, when I saw Frolic come down the outside,
you was like Glenn was. You just would have wanted to be part of his action for the day for quids. It was like, can I buy some of that? Can I bottle some of that? It was liquid gold.
Well, in that first race, I tipped the favourite to beat Frolic, but if you got my stuff, I just thought there was two possibles, and I thought the thing would win. I thought Frolic couldn't miss a place. They bet $2.10 a place, but you had to butter up a bit of the $16 as well, and just have a bit of a result in the race. And to watch it ridden so well, it was racing. It was back. Money in your kick always makes you decide, doesn't it?
Hi Randers, firstly congrats on your decision to start your own show after the unfortunate demise of the Punters show. Good to see Mark and Glenn back and firing on all cylinders, along with the new edition of the Ginger Baron, adding his own different perspective.
Jeez, Gord's got some nicknames.
Hasn't
Ginger
he?
Baron.
I tell you what, he was apparently signing autographs there at Canberra yesterday.
Bullshit.
Signing autographs.
Fuck off.
Whether deliberately or otherwise, the panel now delivers a good balance of experience and approach, with Professor Mark providing his thoughts based on hordes of data, meticulous research and a memory for ancient racing results, second to none. Diamond Glenn with his alternative slant to form, horse behaviour and use of the fair, and the Ginger Baron who manages to distill his thoughts into what one could describe as an easy to digest everyman format.
One thing about Gord, he does, that'll win that
everyman,
way. Yeah, there's two hopes here, none. We tie ourselves up a bit more in knots. So
well, I love the knots, you see.
Oh, you love a knot. And as I'm getting older, I've been hanging around you too much because I used to be more of a tick and cross man. But
I know, you were so upset with me about bloody Rocket Commander on Saturday, weren't you?
Well, I was upset with myself. Only because I played a decent quaddie ticket there and I left it out, but I thought it was a genuine chance. And then
liked it. You liked it.
I know how I left it out. I sometimes do in the preview show. What's like everything? I'm not blaming you. You blame yourself. You blame yourself for every gamble decision.
It's important to remember that you are responsible for your own actions.
My word.
And you listen to other stuff.
I'd come back from having hieroglyphics in the early quaddie for a good piece of money in the first two legs. And so I'm in Magic Man Spukesville anyway. Like a Magic Man talking to myself, fucking, you know, like, and there's the horse I originally... But you're right, you're right, you know, the 14 back to 12 made that horse particularly flat in that race. It raced particularly flat and happened to get its head in line in one spot. It probably wasn't not much chance, even though it won.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Mark's comments through the track on Friday, there's a few Fridays ago, being a slow 8, I don't know, prompted me to write in again to highlight the massive difference in attitude towards wet tracks taken by our Kiwi cousins over the dish. The Hokitika meeting on January 11 this year, so middle of summer, was run on a track that started out officially as a heavy 11 and raining steadily. The track is just 1,300 around, 350 metres straight, the last 150 being uphill. Needless to say, authorities here would have cancelled the meeting, gone home to their soy lattes and tofu salads, congratulating themselves on the wisdom of their decision, completely heedless to both the damage to racing's credibility and the financial pain suffered by participants.
Can I just jump in there? Have we seen a bad injury on a wet track?
Look, B. Baker says they don't happen. Jockeys, they get soft falls. They don't actually fall.
We lost another young lady during the week, which is just so awful. And we, you know, everyone seems to be like black armbands and prayers, and it's just so sad. 22, and apparently she's a delightful kid. It's just awful. But riding horses is dangerous. But on really wet tracks, do we see injuries? Do we see falls? Don't the horses just like get, and the horses stop?
The horses are slow, they go slower.
Everything's slow. Why do we call them off then?
Look,
we're racing rock hard tracks and everything's sweet. Unless it's too hot now, we cancel that mean as well. We should race on heavy 12s.
Of course we should. They're made of sterner stuff in New Zealand. Race 1, 1,200 metre maiden, run in light misty conditions, and the winning time was a leisurely 1:31.1 for 1,200
metres. 1:31 they ran.
That's for 1,200, which is comparable to a person running the 100 in 14 seconds.
But they powered home the last 600 in a tick under 50 seconds. 49.87 they got home in the last 600. Outstanding stuff in New Zealand. They are made of sterner stuff.
Race 2
New Zealanders are tougher than Australia.
So much tougher. Race 2 was pretty much the same. Field of 4 contested the much higher ratings band 85 race 3 over 1,200, and the winner ran the fastest last 600 of the day, a blistering 49.62. Race 4 was over the staying trip 2180, field of 9. Conditions had deteriorated a little by this time. The winner ran 3 minutes 3 minutes and 5 seconds, scooting home in 53.7.
So that's over 2,100 metres. That's the time they run the Melbourne Cup.
Nearly.
Nearly.
The margins were 5.5 by 14 by 13 by 17.
So if the margins are 5.5 lengths by 14 lengths by 13 lengths by 17 lengths, doesn't that tell you that the racing's safe?
Very safe. There's no one near anything.
Well, there's no one near anything, so why do we cancel on heavy tracks?
The 6th horse home was officially beaten 52.5. Why bother with the half? But now, the highlight of the card and a race that I implore you all to watch. This is at Hokitika on Hokitika at January the 11th. It'll be on nzracing.com. The last 5 races were run over 1,645 and kicked off with the 9-horse maiden, which was run in 2 minutes 13.9. What's so great about this race, and you can watch it at the link provided, is that the winner is at least 15 lengths behind them into the straight, but ends up winning by 15. It ran a last 600 of 51.5 against the next best 600 of 56.5, which is just a reminder, is over 2 seconds slower than the Flemington 1,000-metre track record. The last 4 races were completed in 2:19, 2:17, 2:15, the weight for age race, and 2:17. This is all for a mile race. The last 600 of race 7 was 57.72. Red Rum would have run faster sectionals in even the slowest of his 3 Grand Nationals at Aintree. I've watched racing on what are considered bog tracks in Australia, but nothing has ever come close to this meeting from New Zealand. It demonstrates what can be done when all participants are truly committed to putting on a meeting while overcoming significant obstacles along the way. Keep up the great work. Long may the ranters rant. Well, commitment. That's a word, isn't it?
And it just shows that we've got the wrong attitude here. And it shows that New Zealanders are, they're stiffer and sterner and tougher than us. In the way the All Blacks play rugby and that. I mean, like, the New Zealanders are a tough crew. Like, honestly, yeah, someone like Bjorn Baker is like a smiley, dopey, friendly New Zealander. He's a hard, tough player.
Don't. Yes.
He's a hard, tough player.
And that's why you'd actually want him to have you training for him, and hopefully we will have some horses with him in the future, because we did preview that we're going to do some business with him, and we do intend to. But he's canny. He's so canny.
Yeah, he's canny.
And he looks, as you say, blonde and dopey.
Oh, it's the best throw-off of all time. Waddles round. He's a classic. It's great for racing.
Gary wrote in, hello guys, talking about...
Every person in Australia should know Bjorn Baker.
Oh, for sure.
Like in racing, like they know, they know Lee Friedman more than they know Bjorn Baker. Lee Friedman's like, he's probably sitting on a sofa today, dragging on a bunga, watching the cricket. Like, but Bjorn's there, he's up, and he's alive, he's real. Indeed. He's in the ring talking to everybody.
That's right.
Punters come up to Bjorn and say, what do you think about your horse? He goes, I don't know, what do you think? He's trying to get our information.
Oh, but I've got one in an orange today that, it's not much good, but I think it'll win.